Hello everybody. Today we are talking about Afcon 2027 and we are going to discuss the stadiums. We are going to discuss in particular two of the stadiums that will be hosting the tournament. But first I'll give you a background on all the other stadiums and everything about them. As you know, East Africa is hosting the 2027 Afcon champion, which is deemed as Pamoja Bid, in that three countries will be hosting the competition. It's very exciting. People in all those countries are very excited because the competition has never come to East Africa. Ethiopia once hosted, but within the East African community, we haven't hosted it. As you know, Kenya lost the rights to host it some in 1996. It was given to South Africa because of some political stuff. Back to stadiums. The three countries have bidded to host the tournament in 2027 together. All the three countries have several existing stadiums and are also building new stadiums. In Uganda, they have Nambole Stadium or Mandela Stadium, which is a 45,000 capacity stadium. It has been renovated and it's ready to host. If Afcons were to be hosted today, it will be ready. Then they also have Nakivubo Stadium, artificial turf ground. Nakivubo Stadium capacity is 35,000. It was renovated by Ugandan tycoon Amis Kigundu. You remember him from his amazing house that trended on the other day. He has a very big, amazing mansion on the shores of Lake Victoria in Kampala. I think Kenyan tycoons should follow suit and at least help in renovation of some of the infrastructure that is falling apart in the country. And Nakivubo Stadium has a capacity of 35,000. In Kenya, we have Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi, which is currently under renovation. Kasarani Stadium has a capacity of 60,000, which is the joint biggest stadium currently in the region alongside Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Tanzania. So we also have Eldoret Stadium, which was supposed to be renovated and let's just say reconstructed because a lot was going to happen. They had to put a new roof, a new curtain wall, and canopy. And unfortunately, the renovation stalled along the way. I don't know. I haven't heard from the Minister of Sports. It's sad. Bukungu Stadium in Kakamega was also suggested, but again, construction started. Then along the way, it stalled. In Tanzania, they have Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam, which is a 60,000 capacity stadium. It's complete. It has been approved, ready to host. They also have Aman Stadium in Zanzibar. Aman Stadium has a capacity of 15,000 and it has also been approved and ready to host. Then let's go to new stadiums. The three countries are also constructing new stadiums. Uganda is constructing 2 new stadiums. Kenya is constructing 1 new stadium, and Tanzania is constructing 1 new stadium. In Uganda, they are constructing Aki Ibua Stadium in Lira, northern Uganda. The stadium is named after John Aki Ibua, an Olympic gold medalist in the 1972 Olympics, who is from the same area. That's quite good. Instead of naming everything after politicians, you can name it after sportsmen who actually deserve to be named. You know, stadiums are used by sportsmen. So I've never understood why we Africans love naming our stadiums after politicians. Stadiums should be named after sportsmen if they have to be named after somebody. The expected capacity of Aki Ibua Stadium is 20,000 people. It has a running track. It also has a canopy. It is being done under an EPC contract. An EPC contract is also known as a turnkey contract by FIDIC. FIDIC is the International Federation of Consulting Engineers, an international standards of organization by engineers that is used to regulate how contracts should be done in construction. And it also provides contract templates. So one of the contract templates is the turnkey contract or the EPC contract. Turnkey contract, or the EPC means engineering, procurement and construction. The turnkey contract is simply where the contractor designs and constructs a structure and finishes it completely, then gives it to the client. So the client only comes to turn the key. That's why it's called turn. So you do everything until it's done, then you give to the client, then the client pays you. So Aki Ibua is being done under the turnkey contract model, and the company doing it is Samco. Samco, National Construction Company. It's an Egyptian company. And the design consultant is El Raid Engineering Consultants, also of Egypt. I think they're doing it as a joint venture, because for turnkey contract, you do both the design and the construction. Aki Ibua Stadium has a capacity of 20,000 and it's being constructed at a cost of 129 million US dollars. Not Kenyan shillings, not Ugandan shillings, not Tanzanian shillings. 129 million US dollars, which is approximately 470 billion Ugandan shillings. Then the next stadium is Hoima Stadium in Hoima. It is also similar to Ati Ibua. Just similar. Capacity is 20,000. The cost is 131 million, which is similar to 129 million of Aki Ibua. So Uganda will have 4 stadiums. I think that's quite commendable, because Kenya and Tanzania will be having 3. Yeah, Uganda will be having 4. That's commendable. Kenya is constructing Talanta Stadium. Talanta Stadium is being constructed in Nairobi, Jamhuri area, in the Jamhuri grounds. The stadium was initially slated for Mombasa. I don't know why they moved it to Nairobi. Politics. I would have preferred it to be in Mombasa, because Nairobi already has a 60,000 capacity stadium, that is Kasarani, that is being renovated. So the stadium is again being built in Nairobi. So Nairobi will have 2 stadiums of 60,000 people capacity. That makes Nairobi, alongside Johannesburg, the only 2 African cities with 2 stadiums of over 60,000 capacity. So Talanta Stadium will be the joint biggest stadium in Kenya, alongside Kasarani Stadium after it has been constructed. The initial design was actually 50,000. You can see the initial design. It was the initial design from Uhuru Kenyatta's government was 50,000. Then Ruto came in. He came with a new design that was 60,000. I prefer the new design though. The old design looked kinda okay. I don't know, tacky. But the new design is okay, it's good actually, not okay, it's good. Talanta Stadium is the only major stadium in East Africa without a running track. Okay, to some people that's not a good thing, but to me it's a good thing, because it gives the kind of environment, without a running track, you're so close to the action. It gives the kind of environment you can't find in a stadiums with running tracks. Furthermore, Talanta Stadium will have a running track just outside the stadium, so we won't be missing anything. It will have 2 training grounds that have a running track around. If you fight without a running track, and we should build more stadiums like that. The design of the stadium is being done by University of Nairobi Enterprises, led by lead consultant. The lead consultant is Professor Erastus Abonyo. The supervising engineer is KDF, Kenya Defence Forces Engineering Department, which is a very effective engineering consultant there. You see the works they did on Uhuru Gardens, it was very top-notch. Uhuru Gardens Museum, it was very top-notch. So I like them, and when they do, there is very little room for corruption when they supervise a project. So I like them. The contractor is CRBC, China Roads and Bridges Corporation, which is a subsidiary of CCCC, China Communications Construction Company, which is a Fortune 500 company, one of the biggest companies in the world. CRBC are very serious guys when it comes to construction. Remember, CRBC is the same company that constructed the Kenyan SGR and the expressways. Both projects were done at a record speed. So they are good. They are good. They also designed the number 19 berth in Mombasa. The cost of the Talanta Stadium is 350 million US dollars, not Kenya shillings, which makes it the most expensive of the stadiums under construction in preparation for the Pamoja Bid. Initially, the cost was hidden from the public. I don't know for what political reasons, but recently, Bamburi Cement let the cat out of the bag when they shared a tweet, which stated that the cost will be 350 million US dollars, about 45 billion Kenya shillings. So some of the features in Talanta Stadium, the height of Talanta Stadium is 54 meters, which is quite high because the stadium doesn't have a running track, so it's not as wide as the other stadiums, so it needs to go up higher to accommodate the high capacity of 60,000. It has a parking of 3,000 cars. It has outdoor training facilities with a running track. It has VIP and VVIP spaces, which are really VIP and VVIP. It has a VAR and goal line technology. Also a botanical garden and green spaces. It is designed to be a smart stadium with digital ticketing and indoor navigation. Indoor navigation helps fans to navigate around the stadium. You don't get lost. It also has real-time updates that provides fans with updates during events. The stadium will have a hybrid grass surface. The stadium has hybrid grass like Nambola Stadium in Uganda. I saw them installing hybrid grass, which is commendable. I don't know if it's the first stadium in East Africa to have hybrid grass. I'm not sure if Mahoro Stadium in Rwanda has hybrid grass, but it has to have. That stadium was really renovated to top standards. So hybrid grass, as you know, is a combination of natural grass and artificial fibers, which makes it more stable and durable. The stadium has a cable-supported grid structure. Cable-supported grid structure is a structure that combines rigidity and flexibility. It's made of cables and rigid grids. Rigid grids is basically steel, and it can be used for long-span roofs, and it's also used in bridges for cable-stayed bridges and suspension bridges. The canopy will be of ETFE, ethylene tetrafluoroethylene, those chemical compounds that we used to learn in high school. Ethylene tetrafluoroethylene membrane. So it has an ETFE membrane canopy. The membrane canopy, the ETFE, is lightweight, transparent, and durable, and it also rainproof and dustproof. It doesn't collect dust. You know the way some surfaces collect grass and become dull and brown or dirt looking. This one, the grass, the dust just slides along it. The roof will also have skylights, and the canopy will be, I think it will be the biggest canopy in the region. It will cover all the fans and maybe part of the field. You can look at the design, how it looks. It's almost covering the whole stadium, which is a good thing. So that is it for Talanta Stadium. Now we'll go to our next stadium, which we are going to compare with Talanta Stadium. That is Mama Samia Suluhu Stadium in Arusha. Now on to Arusha Stadium. Arusha Stadium is officially named Mama Samia Suluhu or Dr. Samia Suluhu Stadium. Another stadium named after a politician, I don't know. That is a curse we Africans have to endure. The capacity is 30,000 and it's located in Olmoti ward. Olmoti sounds like a Maasai name. Anyway, Arusha is in Maasai land, so Olmoti must be a Maasai name. So it's located in Olmoti ward in Arusha city. Olmoti is on the west of Arusha. It's further from the town. I think it's in a more open peri-urban area. Just like Talanta Stadium, Mama Samia Suluhu Stadium also changed design. The initial design was this, and then it was changed to this. I like the current design. The initial design was kind of monotonous, or rather too common. The new design is more futuristic. The stadium will cost 112 million US dollars. That is less than all the other stadiums, which makes it more cost effective than the other stadiums. The stadium will be developed and constructed by China Railway Construction Engineering Group, CRCEG. It is probably a turnkey project because they say it will be developed, not constructed. It will be developed and constructed. So it's a turnkey project, which means the contractor, who is CRCEG, will do both the design and the construction. The government of Tanzania will only be handed the key. Will only be handed the key at the end of the construction period. The stadium design is inspired by Tanzanite. As you know, Tanzanite is a mineral, a very expensive gemstone. I think it's even more expensive than diamond, and it's only found in Tanzania. And that is why many Tanzanian structures are designed to resemble the Tanzanite, because Tanzanians are really proud of Tanzanite. Even the Dar es Salaam SGR terminus, it was inspired, the design was inspired by Tanzanite. You can see it looks like a gemstone, a blue gemstone. Tanzanite is a blue gemstone, and I'm told it is even more expensive than diamond. They say it's also partly inspired by Mount Kilimanjaro, but I don't see Mount Kilimanjaro in this. Perhaps you can explain to me how it resembles Mount Kilimanjaro in the comment section, if there are any Tanzanians here who understand it. The colors are inspired by the Tanzanian flag. The Tanzanian flag has the colors green at the top, then yellow, black, yellow, blue. I'm not sure what the colors on the Tanzanian flag means, but I can guess. The green means the agricultural productivity of the country. The yellow means the mineral deposits in the country. The black, of course, is the skin of the natives of Tanzania, and the blue is the water. Remember, Tanzania has Lake Tanganyika, shares Lake Tanganyika with the other country, with some other countries, DRC and is it Zambia and Burundi. For your information, Lake Tanganyika holds 60% of all Africa's fresh water. That is quite something. Like 60% of all Africa's fresh water is in Lake Tanganyika. So you can tell there is a lot of water in Tanzania. And Lake Tanganyika is also the second deepest lake after Lake Baikal in Russia. Back to Arusha Stadium. Unlike Talanta Stadium, Arusha will have a running track. To me, it's quite disappointing, but I think to other people, that is a pro. That is something good. But to me, it's quite disappointing because we have so many stadiums with running tracks. We need more stadiums that are purpose-made for football and rugby and other field games. Construction is ongoing currently, though it's less progressed than Talanta. The features in Arusha Stadium include VAR and goal line technology. They also have VIP rooms, two VIP rooms. They also have VIP rooms and two VIP sections on both sides. One side will be occupied by government officials, and the other will be reserved for company corporates. Again, I'm disappointed in this, putting politicians and governments at the forefront. That is what African countries do. The stadium will also have a museum. This is a game changer. I think it will be the only stadium in the region with a museum. And it will have offices, that is normal. And it's a steel structure design. The stadium structure will be a steel structure, which is slightly different from Talanta Stadium cable supported structure. So this one will be all rigid, cantilevers and whatsoever. So those are the features of Arusha Stadium. Now, let's compare the two stadiums, Dr. Mama Samia Stadium and Talanta Stadium in Kenya, Jamhuri. So let's compare them and see which stadium is better than the other, or whatever we come.
Okay, now you've seen some of the features and background story of the two stadiums, Talanta Stadium and Arusha Suluhu Stadium. So let's go on to the comparison. I'll start with the exterior design. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, so this one is highly subjective. Different people have different views on the exterior design of the two stadiums. So both stadiums look good. First of all, I like the new design of Talanta, and I also like the design of Samia Suluhu Stadium. But when you look at Talanta is highly generic in that it looks like the normal stadium. How it doesn't have any unique features about it, other than the Maasai shields on the curtains of the stadium that is replicated in the landscaping and car parks. The rest of the stadium doesn't have a very unique design. You can basically find the design language in many other stadiums around the world, like this and this and this. Arusha Stadium, however, is inspired by things natural and dear to Tanzania, and the design looks very futuristic. So in this case, I'll give Arusha or Samia Suluhu Stadium a point. So Arusha 1, Talanta 0. The next element is capacity. This one is a no-brainer. Talanta is 60,000 capacity. Samia Suluhu is 30,000 capacity. So that is 1 for Talanta and 1 for Suluhu. The third element of comparison is technology. Talanta has VAR and goal line technology. It has digital ticketing. It has indoor navigation. It has real-time updates, smart stadium features, and real-time updates. Now, smart stadium features, just for information, includes things like interactive displays, smart seating, which is customizable seating options. You have touch screens, charging stations, interactive fan engagement like polls, social media interactions, trivia games, things like that. That is smart stadium technology. It will be installed in Talanta Stadium. In Arusha Stadium, I don't think we have that. Arusha also has VAR. It has goal line technology, digital ticketing, but there is no mention of indoor navigation and smart stadium features. So in that category, Talanta takes this one home. So Talanta 2, Samia Suluhu 1. The third element of the third category is features and practicality. Talanta has a higher parking capacity, higher seating capacity. It has skyboxes and outdoor training facilities. Arusha has a museum, which is a game changer. I think it will be the only stadium with a museum in the region, and I hope all other stadiums replicate that. I hope all the other new and upcoming stadiums replicate that, and I hope maybe Talanta, they may decide to do it. Arusha Stadium also has offices and outdoor training, and they have an indoor running track. Okay, I don't know whether it's an indoor, but they have a running track in the stadium. If you notice, most of what Talanta has, Arusha has, though in smaller capacity. For example, Talanta has a higher parking capacity, higher seating capacity. I'm not sure if Samia Suluhu Stadium will have skyboxes, but there is a high probability it will have skyboxes. Arusha also has one outdoor training facility. Talanta has 3, as you can see from the designs. But there are things that Arusha has that Talanta doesn't have, especially the museum. In fact, it is the museum. The museum gives Suluhu a point on this one. So in this case, when it comes to features and practicality, Talanta takes, Samia takes home a point. Then the 5th category is fun atmosphere. By fun atmosphere, I mean the fun atmosphere or stadium atmosphere is how fans respond to the environmental cues in the stadium, how the response of fans to or games or whatever. It is influenced by things that like the crowd, the noise, the lighting, the visual design, and the interaction generally of fans to the interactions of fans among themselves and the players. So in this case, if you look at Talanta doesn't have a running track, which means the fans are very close to the pitch. The fans are very close to the pitch, and even those who are sitting far up, they are closer to the pitch than those who are sitting far up in Samia Suluhu Stadium. So this gives, generally, stadiums that do not have a running track normally have better atmosphere than those that have a running track. So in this case, Talanta takes a point home in terms of fun atmosphere. So Talanta 3, Arusha 2. Next is structural design. Structural design is generally how the structure, normal structural design, the materials, the general design of the stadium. So when you look at Talanta Stadium uses a method that is more modern than Samia Suluhu Stadium. For example, they use ATFE membrane cover on the canopies. And the ATFE membrane cover is a very light material, first of all, so it makes it reduces the dead weight on the stadium, and it is easier to replace, and it doesn't accumulate dust and dirt easily like the other materials. Right. Talanta Stadium also uses cable supported canopies, and like I told you before, cable supported canopies is where both rigid and flexible material are used structurally. By structurally, I mean they support weight. Anything that is structural in a structure is something that supports weight. If something doesn't support weight, it's not structural. If it supports weight, it is structural. So in Talanta Stadium, we have flexible cables that actually support weight, which is a more modern and effective way. Samia Suluhu Stadium uses cantilevers, which is the same method that has been used in the other older stadiums in the region, like Kasarani and Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam. So Talanta Stadium is generally lighter and easier to clean and easier to repair. So Talanta wins on this one. So this gives Talanta 4 and Samia Suluhu 2. The 7th category is value for money. Talanta Stadium will cost about $350 million for a 60,000 capacity stadium. This is not a bad deal. It's not overinflated cost. If you compare it with other stadiums around the world that are of the same capacity, it's actually a very cheap stadium considering the amount of technology. It is one of the most technologically advanced stadiums in Africa. It will be one of the most technologically advanced stadiums in Africa when complete. It might even be the most, I'm not sure about that, but it will surely be among the most technologically advanced. So for $350 million, that is a good deal. But still, it's no way close to the deal that Tanzania got with their Samia Suluhu Stadium. Samia Suluhu Stadium is a 30,000 capacity stadium. It has most of the modern technology that is available in stadiums today, yet it's going to cost only $112 million. That is even cheaper than the two Ugandan stadiums that are smaller in capacity. So Samia Suluhu Stadium by far gives better value for money. And remember, Samia Suluhu Stadium also has a museum. None of the other three stadiums that are under construction for Afcon have museums. Only Samia Suluhu Stadium has a museum, yet it is the cheapest. So in this category, Samia Suluhu takes the crown. They are really getting value for money. Talanta has 4 points and Samia Suluhu has 3 points at this point. The 8th category is location. Talanta Stadium is located in Jamhuri Estate in Nairobi. Jamhuri Estate is the middle of Nairobi, major metropolis actually in East Africa, the biggest metropolitan area in East Africa. It is poised to be connected to a railway line. I'm not sure if the railway line will come or not. Politicians normally talk, but they rarely, until you see something being built, you can't believe it. They rarely implement what they say. But Talanta Stadium is supposed to be connected to a railway line that will assist in transportation of funds to the stadium. Meanwhile, Samia Suluhu Stadium is in a peri-urban area on the edge of Arusha City. Arusha City is a much smaller city than Nairobi. So generally, Talanta Stadium is in a better location than Samia Suluhu Stadium. So Talanta takes 5 and Arusha takes 3. That is the last category for me. So that is it. I think overall winner is Talanta Stadium. Remember, this doesn't mean Samia Suluhu Stadium is a bad stadium. It's actually a very good stadium, one of the best stadiums in Africa upon completion. But in the categories I've compared, the 8 categories I've compared, Talanta Stadium had an edge. So what's your take? Maybe you can tell me in the comments what your take is. Maybe you can add more categories that you think I should have done. Maybe tell me. I know some people will disagree. That Talanta Stadium is the overall winner, and it's okay because this is a matter of opinions. But this is my opinion on it. I think Talanta Stadium has an edge on Samia Suluhu Stadium. So you tell me what your take is. Thank you. And please kindly subscribe and share.